Everybody wants to buy inexpensive waterfront in Florida, but nobody wants to be sold swampland in Florida. Last week, I went through a list of questions to ask when you are looking at inexpensive waterfront property here. Today, I'm going to take you through step by step what I would do if I weren't a Florida realtor and I wanted to find the cheapest waterfront to suit my needs. Yo, I'm Adrienne, a longtime Florida realtor, and I'm here to help you get your Florida life. Happy Wednesday, or whatever day it is where you are. I come out with new videos every Wednesday. You can subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep updated. It is very common that I get calls or emails from people who really want to find something on the water and they want to do it as cheap as possible. I understand this desire. Florida waterfront property is beautiful and often a good investment. I'm going to take you through these steps as if you just started thinking about buying to the point where you have a realtor and have some idea of what you want. Step one, the first step is to figure out your maximum budget. This is the budget you're probably not going to tell anyone, even if you get a good realtor that you trust. Now, you can tell your agent if you trust them, and if you don't trust them, maybe you shouldn't be working with them. Of course, this is step one. You don't have an agent yet, but it is important for you to know. You don't have to set a minimum budget. I've never had anyone say to me, no, that's below my minimum price. Step two, cheap waterfront is all relative. Get a general idea of the kind of waterfront you really need. If you're only looking for cheap, that's it. That's your only criteria. There is swampland still available here. There's not much you can do with it, and that's why it's cheap. You might want white sands beachfront property, but you'll be satisfied with a creek or a lake. You're going to find much cheaper deals on a creek or a lake. One way to get a feel for what you need is to ask yourself what you're going to do on that water. If you just want pretty water to look at while you drink your coffee, you could be very satisfied with lakefront property, which is much less expensive than a canal that's good for boating. Likewise, a canal that's maybe too shallow for much boating can still be great for fishing, and you'll find it at a better price. Step three, do a little research where you want to be in Florida. Frankly, there is water just about everywhere here. I'm in coastal Southwest Florida. Most people know my area of Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte for its great boating. You can go to the center of the state and you're not going to find the quick access to the Gulf, but you can buy lakefront property there. You can also buy lakefront property here at a pretty good price compared to many other coastal areas, if being near a coast is important to you. Again, it's about what you want to do. Know that it is very common in this step to narrow it down to 2 or 3 places or a general area. A lot of my customers start by telling me they are looking from Sarasota, which is about an hour north of us, to Cape Coral, which is about 45 minutes to the south. I'm in the middle of that. Include in that research figuring out if your maximum budget is anywhere near what the cost of average waterfront property would be. You might be saying, but I don't want average price property, I want cheap. You probably also don't want to spend your maximum budget. This research is just to see if the area is workable for you. Also, if you watched my video last week, you know that sometimes the absolute cheapest will cost you more in the long run. So you want to be careful if your maximum budget only affords you the absolute cheapest piece of land. But how do you know? Who can help you figure out if you found a good deal? Step 4, find a realtor. You have a budget and an area. Next, you should get help from an expert. A lot of people spend a lot of time running in circles online when a local expert who does this all day can answer these questions quickly. These days, finding a realtor is easier than ever. There's so much information online. You can actually get a feel for the knowledge and personality of the person you're calling before your call. If you're looking in the Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area, I'd love to help you. I'll also connect you to my favorite realtor in any other part of the state. Just shoot me an email. I'd love to help. Note, I said find a realtor, one realtor. You might have to call around and talk to several to find one you like. Many people try to just use the listing agent on each property that looks enticing to them. You can do this. Technically, they should disclose anything they know about the property that materially affects the value of the property. However, when you work with one agent, they get to know you. They can advise you better, and you might even learn more about the area or the market instead of just one property at a time. It is a much more efficient and I think cost-effective way to go. Step 5. This is the tough one for a lot of people, but it will save you time and money. Listen to your realtor. Now, wait, hear me out. If you don't trust your realtor, if you don't think what they're saying is true, or you just don't like them, get a new one. Do it now before you get too far in the process. If you believe what your realtor says, but don't like it because it doesn't fit your budget or your dream, you may have to recalibrate your expectations. This will actually save you time and money and actually get you to your dreams in ways you may not see. There are people in my world who have been calling me for years wanting property that doesn't exist. They have a long list of criteria and I tell them they can get all they need for X amount of dollars. Doesn't matter the exact number. And they say, well, we only have half that. We'll keep looking until something comes up. But when you're that far off, you're better off reevaluating. Even if the half-price waterfront home did come up in the area where everything else is double, either something would be seriously wrong with it, or it would go in such a bidding war it would not sell for that amount. Where you lose money doing this is when waterfront property prices continue to go up. And I know they could go down too. Prices have gone down a little lately. And do you know what I hear from the people who wait for this? Well, let's wait a little longer. They could go down more. And that is true too. But you never know you're at the bottom until they go up again. Like I said, I know people who have been calling me for years. They're on the cycle, they can't get off, and they never get their dreams. Ask your realtor for ideas on the recalibrating. I've seen hundreds of people go through this process, and I've seen so many different ways and things you can do. I can't find you a miracle house that is half the price and in the same condition as every house around it. But I can give you ideas on modifying what you want and still getting something close. You'd actually be surprised by this. Step 6, now you're working with a realtor who's advising you. If it's me, we've already discussed the next steps. If not, you're listening to them. If you watched my video from last week, you should be able to ask them all the questions I mentioned in the last video. Now, they may not know all of the answers, but should have some idea of how to get you the answers. I don't want to advise you if you're working with somebody else, but don't be surprised if they try to get you under contract before you spend any money on the property. Often buyers want to see surveys or environmental report. A lot of sellers don't have them. Many people buy land in Florida purely for investment and they never plan to build. So they don't get these things. Ask your realtor the best way to get all of this done. 6 steps, not bad, not so hard to do. Let me know if this helps. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week.